Welcome back. I would like to introduce, as my next guest, the President of the United States.
Oh, actually, that's a typo.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm the resident of the United States. That shouldn't be a P. Those people, my office, they get that wrong every time.
Damn it!
I'm the resident of the United States, but it means I'm just 1 P away from being president, which at my age happens all too frequently,
Nice.
I can tell you.
I like that. I didn't know the rest of the joke. I like the way he went around with that. Now, Martin Lewis is here, a very funny British comic. Are you, in fact, now living in the U.S.?
Yes, but only for the last 31 years. So it's sort of like on the Monopoly board where it says just visiting.
But you must not be much older than 45, 46 years old.
Well, that's very kind of you. I'm actually quite an old man. I'm actually 60.
You are?
Yeah, but I tell my manager that I can play 59. Because, you know, you have to get those...
No, really, you look fantastic. I'm 45. I look like your great uncle.
Well, that's okay. I suppose I've aged fairly well. It's mainly being unemployed for about 40 years that helps that.
No stress?
No, none at all.
Now, where you live in New York?
No, I live in Los Angeles. I lived in New York for 6 years, and I absolutely love this city. But then I was seduced by the seductive qualities of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Went out there for a weekend, and 25 years later, I'm still living
A
there.
long weekend. Now what? Now so now, give me. Did you start comedy in London, in fact, and then what happened?
I didn't even start comedy till many, many years later. I started out doing publicity and marketing in the music world.
Okay.
And that was my job, and I worked with a lot of great musicians. And then I found myself by accident producing and started producing comedians. I worked with the Monty Pythons, who were just my heroes.
I love them. I love Monty Python.
And I worked with John Cleese on a thing called the Secret Policeman's Ball. Mm-hmm. And they were benefit shows for Amnesty International. And no one wanted to help out on them because it was a charity show, so you wouldn't get paid. I didn't care. I wanted to work with Monty Python.
Right.
So I started doing that. I found myself producing. And after a while, I moved to America, and I continued producing and still doing a little publicity and marketing. And one day I was pitching a show to a TV producer, and I had a great idea as a producer. And the guy said, to be honest, I don't like the show very much, but you're funny. You should be on TV. And I said, I never thought of that.
Why not?
Well, the thing is, if you work with great people like the Pythons and Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, you don't think of yourself as funny.
Right.
But maybe a little bit of it rubbed off on me, and, so I do it. But I don't call myself a comedian. I'm a humorist.
A humorist. Okay, now describe the difference.
A humorist is like a comedian, but not quite as funny. You see, a comedian goes for a laugh. A humorist, we're so insecure, we settle for a smile. But a laugh is a bonus to a comedian.
Sure, now let me say. So would you say your humor is just more subtle? A little more maybe intellectual?
Well, that's what we say when people don't laugh. We say, maybe you just didn't get the joke.
Yeah, it's more intellectual for
Yeah,
you.
it's just a bad joke.
Do you do stand-up in front of an audience?
No. That takes courage, which I don't have. No, what I do is...
What exactly do you do?
Not much. I do a lot of writing. I used to write for Time Magazine, now for Huffington Post. I do a lot of stuff appear on television, making satirical or political observations.
That's great.
I've done that on a lot of cable and on network.
So CNN or whatever, Fox,
MSNBC, Fox,
yeah.
I mean, but sometimes you get typecast because, they hear the British accent. They say, like when Princess Diana died, they said, oh, you must be a royal expert. Well, I studied English history to the age of 12.
I don't care.
I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about it. But I went on and I thought, I'll do it for a week because how long is this story going to last? Well, of course, that story lasts for
forever.
6 months.
Right.
And I became... You remember that guy in the during the Gulf War from Arthur Kent on CNN?
Yeah,
he became the
Scud Stud.
I became the die guy. I don't want to be the die guy. I got to get out of it because I prefer doing politics and pop culture. So I managed to get into doing that. And I also do occasionally a one-man show, but I do that in a theatre because then, the etiquette is that people at least will pretend to be interested, whereas in a club, they're going to talk and drink and make a lot of noise. In a theatre, they just pretend they're interested, then they walk out at half-time.
No, they do. They're much more behaved. I've done stand-up in clubs from, Zanies, Funny Bone, and Yuck Yucks to Carnegie Hall I did.
Right.
And they are, even the biggest slob of an audience member, for some reason, if they're in Carnegie Hall or a theater or whatever, opera house, even if they're seeing the same guy, they'll be more behaved. It's a weird, like, human phenomenon.
Right, and also they pay more attention to the English accent because they think we're smart.
Yes.
And we're actually just as dumb as you lot, but we sound smart. We sound like that Masterpiece Theatre thing.
I'm going to give you a perfect example of
Yeah.
that. Mike, talk like yourself for a second. Talk like you. Just say, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's great to be here. Just whatever.
Hey guys, what's up? It's good to be here. Hi Martin, how are you?
Okay, now that's him, how he really sounds. Now do it in your English accent.
Hello Molly, how are you? Because I want to meet you and we're going to go to some bangers and mash and have some fun and it'll be great.
He's a rare example of both sound really stupid.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, that is the best Albanian accent I've ever heard. It's really good. Usually we would say, good evening, Michael. How are you? I hope you've had a splendiferous day.
Yeah, splendiferous.
It sounds like we're smart. Now, I also had a radio show for quite a while, probably on opposite you. I had a radio show on Sirius. My dear friend Stephen Van Zandt put me on the Underground Garage.
Oh, great
and he
guy.
gave me the morning slot.
Great guy.
I was great, and he put me on. I was opposite Howard. Now,
Never a good idea.
Well, no, what happened was I'm the first person in Arbitron radio ratings to have minus 500,000 listeners a day. It was unbelievable. 500,000 people who weren't listening to me.
Again, there's no pressure. But so Underground Garage, MSNBC, Huffington Post. Would you call yourself a liberal? Would you call yourself a left-wing humorist?
I obviously have a slightly left of centre bias. I'm basically a raging communist, but no, I'm slightly left of centre. But occasionally I will go the other way. For example, today I'm in deep mourning because Margaret Thatcher died.
Right.
I mean,
We were
very
just
deep
talking
mourning.
about that, yeah.
May I say what a great honour it is for
Nice.
you to have me on your show. No, Margaret Thatcher died, and there is a sports connection to this. I was mortified because though I'm left of centre and I did not really appreciate her politics, but I have to admit, begrudgingly, that she did something to improve Britain. Because before Margaret Thatcher came into power, Britain was lagging so low on the league table of the amount of deaths caused at soccer games by hooligans. The Argentinians and the Uruguayans were killing far more. But after a few years of her policies, all our kids were unemployed and we were able to kill many more spectators than the foreigners.
That is excellent. Well, listen, we're going to